Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a fan requested favorite, if that's the way I want to put it. I've gotten a lot of requests on how to rear-wheel drive drift, so I thought I'd put together a little bit of a series for, a low-powered tandem kind of car, something that doesn't need a whole lot of power, not really used for points. It's more so, for you and your buddies to get together, go slide, try to put doors next to each other, and have a good time. The second video is probably going to be a points car. I'll be taking requests. You guys can leave some information down in the comments and cars you'd like to see. And then the third one, I'd like to do like a wacky kind of car, something that not a whole lot of people drift. You probably never see in a public lobby, but stuff that's fun and exciting and, kind of changes it up a little bit. Again, like I said, leave some comments, let me know what you're looking for, let me know what you want to see, because I'm doing this for you guys. It's not for me. It's exciting to be a part of this. It's exciting and new to be on YouTube. But ultimately, it is for you guys. It's for you to get better, to learn, and to be able to enjoy drifting as much as I do. So to start off today, I'm going to go with the R34, and we're going to convert it from all-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive. And the reason I'm picking the R34, it was my favorite car to drift way back when on the motorsport games. It's got a long wheelbase, and it's pretty easy to get sideways. Like I said, we're going to stick with a low power build for today. Going forward though, like I said, we'll do a points and a wacky one after that. So let's get started right off. We're going to jump into custom upgrade. We're going to go over, we're going to try to stick with the stock motor on this car. When it comes to a tandem car, you don't need a whole lot of horsepower. Can you use a lot? Sure. Can it be detrimental sometimes and difficult to put yourself in the correct position when you have a lot of horsepower? Yes. So we're going to stick with the stock motor. We are going to have to convert this to rear-wheel drive. It does come all-wheel drive. When it comes to aero and appearance, pick what you like. I'm a big fan of, I think the top secret kit on this car looks pretty cool. The only one thing I will add is when you go for the wings, if you go for the Forza edition, it does let you adjust the downforce in the back. It's a very niche thing. You don't really need the downforce, but in certain builds and high horsepower builds, you may notice it. I am going to recommend going with the widest track, so front and rear. Again, wheels, I'm going to go with my favorite. It doesn't really make a difference. I think it's in this one. Anything works wheels is for me. As far as rear tire size, that's more something that you're going to figure out once you start testing the car. More than likely, you're going to want to bump it up a little bit. Rim size, again, it doesn't matter. As far as the tire compound, I usually try to stick to drift tires in this game, but on something like very low horsepower, like 400 or 500, I'll probably go with a stock. And reason for that, it's just if the car doesn't want to break free, and that's not a Queen reference, but if the car can't get sideways or it can't spin the tires, then you're not going to be drifting. So I'm going to stick with the drift tire compound because I know that this car can start spinning wheels once this gets a little bit more upgraded. All right, so now when it comes to the drivetrain, I'm going to recommend for a tandem car, you'd probably stick with the 6-speed. Upgrade all your other driveline components. All the differentials are the same. It's more so just the preset settings that come with the vehicle. Or come with that differential, excuse me. The brakes, always upgrade the brakes. It's a weight decrease, it's a performance increase, so it's kind of good all around. Definitely some drift suspension. It helps you with your turning radius, gives you a lot more steering angle. The anti-roll bars, in this game, it helps you so that you're adjustable. And it also helps you lose a little bit of weight too. The weight reduction, I always recommend going with the highest weight reduction. Lighter car means, a little bit more zippy to get around. But it also can mean a little less stable. But we're going to teach you how to tune that out today. When it comes to a roll cage, and I'm a firm believer in roll cages can be used sometimes. In this case, what I do for most cars is I look at the actual numbers on the car. So we see power at 327, torque at 293, and the weight at 2646. Obviously, with a roll cage, the weight is going to go up. What you want to be looking for is if the front weight goes down. So you see 51% when we put it in there. It's at 52 previous, which means that we're putting a little bit more weight on the back wheels, which is going to help the car be a little more stable, get you to that 50-50 range that you want to be, and also help you get a little bit more grip. It'll be a little bit faster. It may not be super noticeable, but it is a little bit of a difference. So I'm going to do the roll cage. I'm going to do a full upgrade on all engine parts. Reason being, we're going to get this up as high as we can get it with the stock motor. I think it gets you to about 700. So when we go back in, that'll put you at 798 and 600 torque, which, again, you can drift with less than that. That there's definitely potential to drift with less than that. I have cars with 600 horsepower, This one just tends to be good. Long wheelbase, good amount of power, and pretty easy to slide around. Now we're going to jump out. We're going to jump into the tuning menu. So when it comes to tuning, I'm going to start at the very end. And what's nice is when you put like the drift differential on, it gives you very good, pretty much base settings. When I go to the differential, the reason I want to put it at 100 and 0, if I put it all the way at 100, 100, it ends up running kind of like a lock diff. When you let off the gas, in a drift or just regular, you kind of apply a little bit of an engine brake. When you leave it at a 0, you control the throttle and you control where the car goes. So we're going to leave that 100 and 0. When it goes to the brakes, I always put to the front. A lot of people say it's reversed. It's not reversed. If you look at the numbers, you're putting 0% to the rear and 200% pressure. So, by process of elimination, that's 200% pressure to the front. Doing so, this gives you full control of your brakes. When you hit the e-brake, you're fully locking the back wheels. When you hit the regular brake, you're fully locking the front wheels. So it lets you make some decisions. And again, that's all stuff that you learn just by drifting. As far as the Aero goes, we don't have any adjustable on this. Dampening, I am a big fan on every one of my drift cars of turning the bump stiffness all the way to 0, as far as you can go. That way, imperfections in the road, curbs, grass, stuff like that doesn't actually throw you offline. The car will kind of adjust to that and let it go. Rebound stiffness, I do like to make the front a little harder than the back. And I'll get to that in a minute. As far as springs, again, same thing. Soft in the front, a little bit stiffer in the rear. Ride height, you want to keep the same. On a high horsepower car, I usually will leave the springs pretty close together. On a low power car, because I want the car to be able to brake traction a little bit easier, the back wheels you want to leave stiffer. That way there's not as much tire contact all the time. As far as the anti-roll bars, again, same thing. We're trying to go for a little bit of a stiffer back. All right, so now on to the biggest part of a drift car, the alignment. Negative front camber is a must on any drift car. It doesn't matter whether it's all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive. Doesn't make a difference. This is basically your stability. What keeps you in a drift and not oversteering, not understeering, and it also allows you to get a little bit more steering angle. When it comes to rear camber, you can go one of two ways. So you can either try to make a fast car by leaving all the rear camber and the rear toe as close to zero as possible, but it kind of leaves you not stable. I probably on this car, on a low horsepower tandem car, I'm going to keep it around 1. My front toe I want to raise to about 1.5. That's going to keep and help with my stability as well. And when it comes to rear toe, I'm going to leave it at 0 for now. You know, that's going to be the most tire contact, the fastest possible I can make this car, you know, without tire pressure settings. But the fastest I can make this car, if I feel like it's very fast, but I'm having trouble getting, you know, the rear to break free, I might raise this up to about 0.5. But for now, like I said, we're going to leave it at 0. Front caster should always be at 7. You know, that's, again, to get a little technical, that's just the positioning of the shock. On a drift car, you want as high of a degree as you can. When it comes to gearing, so you can see over in your box here, you have this one gear that's kind of in a bad position. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move these all up to get them kind of even with each other. You know, that way I have something to shift to if I need a little bit more extension on the drift. And we'll try that out. If anything from here, you know, I can, oh, wrong one. So if I can from here, you can adjust the final drive to bring it down if you're kind of bogging out on power, and extend it if you think that you're redlining too much in your highest gear. Over to tires, we're going to leave them where they're at for now. That's more so something that you adjust when you're tuning. If you feel like the car is not sliding, or you feel like, you know, you're having trouble breaking the tires free in the back, you'll raise the pressure. If you're not sliding enough, or if you're sliding too much, you'll lower it. So let's load that up and take this for a spin. All right, so we're going to take this car for a drive. One thing I did want to mention, you know, something that a lot of people don't think about is the assists. The big thing about that is you do need to turn off a lot of the assists. If I can find it, here we go. So you want to go to difficulty. Make sure that your anti-lock braking is off. Make sure that, you know, steering standard if you're on a controller, simulation if you're on a wheel. Traction control off, stability control off, and, you know, automatic, you can drift, but it is difficult. So I recommend either manual or manual with clutch. Turn the driving line on if, you know, it can help you get set up, you know, on certain corners and help you kind of know where the track is going. And then other than that, you know, to actually test out the car, we're going to take it for a bit of a drive. Recommend picking a house that you don't have to drive too far for. You know, you can kind of test it out right away. See how it feels. I like this house because it's got this little track up here where you can kind of throw it into this side section here. Really kind of get a feel for the car, you know. And honestly, this feels pretty good. You know, it doesn't feel like I really need anything to do on it. You know, if the car was a little fast but was having trouble holding the drifts, I might recommend to, you know, raise that toe like we talked about earlier. But truthfully, I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm probably going to end the video there. please, you know, I stream on Twitch pretty much every night from around 9:30 to midnight Eastern time. I, you know, am willing to answer any questions in the comments. Please let me know if you guys have any questions. And also, as far as the wacky car and the high horsepower car, if you have any ideas or any requests, please let me know. I appreciate it, guys, and you have a great night.